All right, mic check, 1 2, mic check. Can y'all hear me? All right, I want to make sure that I'm being heard. So let me just double check this real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, mic check, 1 2. Perfect, perfect. All right, we tapped in. What's up, everybody? It's the one and only Master myself. I'd like to welcome you to what I call the Master's Table. This here is for the men of IMC Nation and anybody else that's planning on tapping in with IMC Nation. I'm streaming to you live from the base 5, all right, the 5th base within all of IMC Nation. This is IMC TV, all right. So let's go through the rules. There are rules while you're here. First and foremost, know and understand that everything that I do and say here is done under the banner of entertainment. All right. So you ain't got to take what it is I say seriously. Number 2, this is for adults and adults only. All right. No kids in the room. If there are kids in the room, I advise you to sit with those kids and advise them through what's being said. All right. Number 3, wherever it is that you are, do not break the laws of the land you're tuning in from. Unless those laws are oppressive, then of course you have the right to fight back with your communication. All right. Number 4. This is for adults, once again, and as an adult, you're responsible for your own actions. And number 5, I go by the name Master myself, once again, and this here is what we call the Master's Table. I'm going to speak to you as a master and nothing less, all right, because that's how I treat myself on a continuous basis, and it's a forever growing process. Tonight, we're talking about, let me turn off this speaker here. Tonight, we're talking about what's holding you back, right? What's the thing that's holding you from fully, truly expressing yourself, right? Even as I express myself at this moment, I see that there are layers to what it is that we are dealing with when it comes to holding ourselves back or expressing ourselves, right? So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to go over some keys that I learned from my mentor, AZD, literally 10 years ago now, right? Now that we're in the year 2024, right? This is one of the first shows on IMC TV in the year 2024. We've been officially in creation of IMC TV for, I want to say for the last, yeah, we've been in creation for the last year. Last year, January, was the first time that we first started to tap in on IMC Nation. All right, so y'all here you type with me. We'll go ahead and get started. Turn off the speakers and hear the feedback. All right, let's go ahead and tap in. All right, officially. So once again, I'll go by the name Master myself, and this here is the Master's Table. All right, salute to you and whoever else is watching and tapping in. What is it that you have? What is it that you have on your chest, if you will, right? What is it that you have to express in this thing called life? Wherever it is that you are, wherever you can identify yourself, you have to know and understand that your expression, right, is meant to be expressed, not only, to be kept inside of yourself, right? So what is your form of expression? Everybody has a different form of expression. That's the beauty of this thing called life, or art, or communication, if you will. We all have different means of expressing ourselves, right? But where I am at this moment in time, I'm recognizing that, man, there's so many different areas where I'm holding myself back, right? So I wanted to come over here. Anytime I'm doing broadcast here, essentially I'm sharing with you a piece of my life, a piece of the way that I'm thinking about life, and essentially how I plan to move forward, and so on and so forth, right? And this is where the mastermind, ability comes in, right? So we have the opportunity to collectively grow together, and how we're going to do that is by expressing ourselves. And essentially, I just want to communicate to y'all what I believe has been holding me back, right, over these years, if you will. Even though I continue to express myself, there's layers, right, that we continuously are shedding, right, in the path and on the growth of our evolution, on the growth of our life, right, the expansion of our life. So the way that you express, the way that you communicate to your world is the form of expression that you're choosing, right? So that could be through music. It could be through your speech. It could be through your art, right? Maybe you draw, you paint, or maybe it's through the way that you are living, right? Like us within IFC Nation, we're living warrior monks. What does that mean? Well, as a warrior monk, you have an opportunity to every single day create the life that you live by the habits and the rituals that you have on a daily basis. And those habits and those rituals compound on these other things, right, that are helping you to build the structure of what's to come for your life, right? So wherever you are on that scale, we're gonna dive deep into, what is it that you need to do that's maybe different, right, for you to continue to express yourself at the level that you really want to express yourself. Because look, I myself am a I'm a communicator, right? I come here, I communicate, with y'all. Let me make sure I go ahead and go live on IG as well. That's perfect, actually. I may just go ahead and post this, but we will see. All right, let's bring it down. Y'all some more light. Smooth. I didn't title that one, so it is what it is. What's up, IG? I'm here live on IMC TV, right? Y'all want to click the link in the bio and tap in. Essentially, what you're missing out on is this long form, form of communication, if you will. So we're live every single Monday night. This is the Master's Table. Tonight we're talking about what is it that's holding you back, right? So wherever it is that you find yourself, wherever you identify, yourself. What's up, brother Nolan in the house? Salute, man. Wherever it is that you identify yourself, you are resisting some form of expression, right? Meaning that you're not fully putting out your communication. Why is that? Well, oftentimes that's caused by, some belief, some limiting belief that you're holding on to in your mind. The truth of the fact is that, the salute, man, we over here, tapping in, creating over here, you know what I'm saying? But good to have you, brother. Oftentimes that we're just simply dealing with our own mind, right? Most of the time when we are not truly expressing ourselves, we're not putting our communication out. Once again, whatever that communication may be, it may be a communication with your speech, it may be a communication with your production when it comes to your creations, whatever. Like there's some form of expression, right, that you aren't yet fully, capitalizing on, right? And there's a reason behind that. So, for myself, once again, where I start is, what are the beliefs that I have that are holding me, right, in the limitation of not expressing myself, right? Because there's value to expressing yourself. People get to hear from you, right, or they get to feel an effect that comes from your creation, your expression, whatever that may be, right? So there's a positive effect that happens as a result of your creative cause, right, to to life, right? To express yourself, whatever that form may be. Once again, I don't care if you're creating music. I don't care if you're, somebody that draws. I don't care if you are, somebody that expresses themselves through racing a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that form of expression is, we got to go back and look at, what is the reason why I'm not fully expressing myself, right? One form of expression that has been taught to me by my mentor, AZD, is the form of communication, right? Now, he had always said, there are two forms of, or two keys, right, to this thing called life, if you will, and that is communication and imagination, right? Now, for me, communication has been something that I've been aiming to grow at, what I'm saying, damn near my whole life, right? Like, I was constantly the one that was always listening to people, which is like one form, or it's like one half of what communication is, right? There's a listening and then there's an expression, right? There's a speaking. There's what I'm doing right now. I'm vocalizing my thoughts and my ideas, my philosophy, if you will, right? So there's that form, but then there's a form of where maybe you are, where you're listening, right? That's the formula for true communication, right? In order for there to be electricity, right? There has to be a positive and a negative. There has to be a current, a flow, if you will, right? So as I'm expressing myself, what I'm doing is I'm putting out, I'm adding to, somebody, if you will, Whereas if you are listening, you are the one that's receiving, right? So now we have this flow that's happening, right? So that's the dynamic of communication, right? So utilizing that dynamic, what I've learned over time is that there's layers to this thing called communication, right? There is the form of expression of like, oh man, what you want people to see and how you want to be perceived. So you're going to speak a certain type of way. You're going to do certain things that lead your conversation or your communication in the direction that you desire. That's one form, right, of communication, if you will, right, or expression, if you will. Let's say that you are somebody that draws, or you're somebody that paints, or you have that form of creative expression. Okay, what is preventing you from constantly putting that out? Now, once again, if we go back to what is the limiting belief that you're dealing with, maybe somebody told you that your artwork isn't all that you think it is, right? Or maybe somebody discredited the work that you did for somebody else, or they were hating on it, or whatever that may be. There's some form of belief, right, that has led you to not express yourself, right? Because once again, there's a positive result, right, of you expressing yourself. Now, at the same time that there's a positive, right, form of expression, right, there, at the same time there's also a negative. That's what validates the positivity, right? So yes, you're going to get some kind of backlash. You're going to get some kind of feedback. But once again, it's about the perception that you take, right? If you have the perception that whatever it is that I'm expressing is going out and is providing benefit, right, for somebody else. If you're looking at it from that perspective, then you're going to see the benefits of that. But if your mind starts to focus on the negative, and you say, you know what, last time I put this out, man, I got that hate from that one brother, and that brother just stirred me wrong because some part of it was true, or maybe it wasn't true at all, and this person was just talking out the ass. That shit happens too. You get what I'm saying? But regardless, it's about where your mind's going to be focused at, and so for example, I myself, once again, like I said, my form of communication, one of my forms of communication is what I'm doing here when I'm on YouTube and I'm expressing myself. I'm communicating on Instagram. Matter of fact, Instagram, that's all y'all get for the day. Oh no, do I want to share that? Let's see. Nah, we're gonna keep that in the vote. Insights, discard. All right, cool. Right, so this is one form of communication. So, for example, myself, if I'm communicating to my YouTube channel, for example, and I'm looking at my stats and I'm trying to see, what's happening for me and what's not going right, and so on and so forth. Like I have the opportunity to focus on, one side of the scale or the other, or both, really, ultimately. Right, but it's about where I direct my attention and focus on. So if I'm focused on, the fact that I don't have, this many views, and I don't have this, these comments coming in, or whatever the case may be, like that's where your attention goes, the energy flows, right? If my attention is in that direction, then that's what's going to happen. I'm going to end, or I'm not going to end, but I'm going to essentially focus on the limitations of my experience instead of focusing on the value of what's available to me, right? So if I'm focused and I'm starting to open up my mind to, man, what if I just stay consistent delivering this value? If I just stay consistent expressing myself, talking about how I feel doing this, or talking about this experience, whatever the case may be, like that is a form of thinking, a way of thinking that will allow me to begin to measure, right, my growth, as opposed to measuring what's not working for me. So in every moment of life, we're constantly faced with the decision to either focus on the positive of what's happening in this experience, or focus on the negative, right? And it's your choice. Whichever you choose, that's what you're going to get more of, right? So as we look at what's the truth to you holding yourself back, well, the truth of the fact is that you're constantly either focused on the negative or you focus on the positive, right? I myself, can continuously express myself, focusing on the positive of what's happening for me. I know as I express myself, as I'm communicating, right? We all have the ability to communicate. We all have the ability to formulate words and utilize our voice, which is so unique. It's our unique signature in this life. Nobody else sounds like you. Nobody else lives like you. Nobody else thinks like you. You know, the misconception is oftentimes that your voice doesn't matter, and nobody's hearing you. So and so, like these are the limiting beliefs that back up the reason why you're not truly expressing yourself and putting out your communication out to the world. On top of that, once again, oftentimes we're dealing with the opinions or the conversations of others, right? That are happening in our own minds, right? So if I'm focused on, what my mom thinks about what I'm saying on YouTube and so on and so forth, now I'm not going to express myself on my YouTube. I'm not going to be fully expressive. I'm not going to, truly want to say everything that I want to say. Or, for example, I have a female that's around, and she wants to be a part of my inner circle, if you will. She wants to be in a relationship with me. What she was communicating to me is like, oh, you said this about a strip club, and what I'm saying, so on and so forth. And she was saying she was bothered by it. Okay, well, welcome to the year 2024 when men express themselves, right, in the manner of not apologizing for it. And even as I say that right now, I see I'm still censoring different things. However, I'm on that path, and I'm on that process of developing, myself to the point where I am effortlessly expressing myself without apology, not even, censoring myself and so on and so forth. Like these are layers that we have to shed over time. But, if you don't get started on that process, if you don't start to share and communicate in your world, then you're going to stay in that trap. You're going to stay in that limitation of life. And I don't know about you, you know what I'm saying? But most likely if you're here and you're watching IMC TV, you probably want to have, a greater expression in life. You probably want to have a better life. And the way that you're going to do that is to how, AZD's mentor, Manu Tupou, once told him, you have the ability to outcreate anything that's ever happened in your past, right? I know that I have the ability to outcreate any kind of old relationships that I had, any kind of negative experiences that I've ever had, any kind of mental limitations that I've ever experienced in this life. These are all limitations that I've accepted somewhere along my path, right? So what the work is for me to do now is to go back within myself and decide, what do I really want in life, right? Because if I'm focused on what I really want in life, then I'm going to attract it. Not only am I going to attract it, I'm going to take those actions that back up the fact that that's what I want. What do you want in this life? I want to be able to, like I was just saying, express myself without apology, right? Come here and tell, if somebody shows up and I'm like, yo, you a bitch ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? And they need to hear that. For whatever reason, they need to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to freely say that and not feel any kind of, desire to censor myself, or whatever the case may be. Like, no, I'm here to express, right? If you're here, you're exposing yourself to somebody that's willing to express themselves. So what that should do for you is also inspire you to begin to express yourself, right? And that's how we grow. That's how we say with the Nike Nation. You understand me? That's the evolution of our character. We're expressing ourselves so that we're inspiring somebody else to also express themselves. One of my favorite quotes that is from I believe it's from Kobe Bryant. Is the whatever it is that we do in life, the greatest thing that we can do, or no, he says greatness is when you are inspiring somebody else, right, to take action in life and go after their dreams and so on and so forth, right? It's something similar to that. My objective in this life is to be that fire, be that inspiration for somebody else to say, you know what, man, fuck it, bro. Let me just communicate. Let me just put this out. That's what I started doing on my YouTube channel. Right. That's what I started doing here on IMC TV. That's what I was doing with the Master's Table. I just said, man, fuck it. Let me just communicate. I've been seeing my mentor communicate until I started communicating. Let's see, what was the year that I first really started communicating? Like I remember putting videos out on YouTube in the year 2021 officially, right? But I was doing, kind of some forms of communication, kind of over the years and bleeding out here and there. But I wasn't consistent with it, right? Until the year 2021, right? So I started communicating on a consistent basis, at least one time every single cycle, every Monday. That's why we're here, Monday nights, you know what I'm saying, the Master's Table. but I decided, I made the decision, and from there, I knew that I was never going to be the same. Because why? Because now I'm in the process of creating. Now I'm in the process of expressing myself, and there's so many layers that you got to shed when it comes to your communication. We filter our communication so many different times to appeal to this person and not hurt this person and not, that's really what it is. Oftentimes, we're keeping somebody else in mind, and we're saying, their opinion of me matters more than me expressing myself. So I'm just not going to express myself. Once again, it doesn't have to be just in the form of your speech, right? It could be in the form of whatever creation is that you have. Freestyle, if you draw, if you are somebody that knows how to communicate with somebody to help heal them or extract what it is that they have within them. These are different forms of expression, right? But this form of expression allows you to be in this dynamic of life. So once I'm in the place of I'm expressing myself enough, now I can receive more and I can grow from there, right? But oftentimes, so many people are just trapped in not expressing themselves, right? And whatever form of expression that may be, it's unique to you. But the point is, express yourself, put it out, right? Create, do something that's different in order to get new results. You got to do something that's different. You got to put out what it is that you want out of life, right? On so many different levels. Thank you, brother. Salute. Brother, do you have any insights? I don't even know who you are. I don't know what your name is, but I appreciate that comment. He said this is powerful. Thank you. But yeah, any comments or questions or anything like that that's coming up? Brother popping in the background here as well. If not, it's all good. We'll go ahead and move on. I'm gonna wrap up here in about 7 minutes. I just wanted to essentially tap in on this, what I'm saying, and provide insights as to what I'm looking at in life. So yeah, so we'll finish up in about a couple minutes here. Oh, go ahead, brother. If you had something to say. Are you able to unmute? Oh, okay. No worries. All good. Right on. Good to see your face, brother. Jesus. We'll switch back. All right, that's all good. So again, where I'm at in life right now is, I'm in a position constantly to figure out what is it that I've been holding on to, right? That has not allowed me to fully express myself, to put myself in a position where I'm communicating unapologetically, right? That's the work in which I'm doing every single time I go live, right? So every single Monday, I'm constantly applying this as a practice in my life, right? That's why I enjoy creating here on IMC TV, and you'll see every other brother that also has a IMC TV show is also, fascinated with figuring out a better way to express themselves, right? I think about, Captain Yogi Chris, who's the second to AZD when it comes to the organization. And I think about how many times he expressed himself, you get what I'm saying, before he's at the position where he's at now, and he constantly is still seeking that growth and that evolution, right? I can think about Captain Guerrero, right? Who, at some point in time, I remember being around him and, him, watching me create videos like in the backyard of our Airbnb while we was out there doing Beast Camp. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember him wanting to learn how to do it, but then also in the same manner, just not having a voice to be able to express himself. Now you talk to this man is essentially almost prophesizing, over other people, you know what I'm saying, with his voice. So he's found a way to constantly express himself. And these forms of expression, whatever it may be, for you, this is how you get in communication with life, right? And I'm only talking about one key, which is communication, right? But I'm gonna tap in a little bit on imagination before we wrap up here. But being in being in the momentum of life, like if you want to do something, you want to manifest something, you want to attract something to you want to change something in your life, what you want to do is start to create a momentum. And the way that you're going to create a momentum is to start to vibrate at a higher frequency. What does that mean? Well, to vibrate at a higher frequency, you got to take different actions, right, that allow you to raise the frequency which you're operating on, right? What actions can you take that are going to allow you to step into a vibration that you haven't been in yet, right? Maybe that's, once again, you getting on video and expressing yourself. Maybe it's you going to an open mic night and, hopping on the mic. Maybe it's you, going to, this paint workshop, right? And you're a painter and you want to learn how to paint better. Well, that's your form of expression. So go there, follow that, right? Whatever that may be, it's unique to you, but you have to stay in alignment, right, with what is unique with you, right? And that's where your power is at. So that's communication, right? The second key that AZD, our mentor and the founder of IMC Nation, has talked about is your imagination, right? And your imagination, my imagination is something that I love playing around with. And in fact, after I get done talking about this, we're gonna hop into a 5-minute meditation, which I call the meditative moment. That's unique here on the master table, right? So we're going to do a little bit of practice of your imagination as we, continue on. But essentially, your imagination, my imagination, is my favorite thing to play with, right? Because nobody else. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. No other being has access to what's going on in my own mind, and this is just the symbol of our mind, right? We point to our brain and we point to our skull as our mind, right? But your mind is not located anywhere. Your mind is just your mind, right? And what's within your imagination, within your mind is your imagination. That's a faculty, meaning it's a creative function of your mind, okay? Your imagination is as real as you decide to use it, right? If you're not utilizing your imagination on a daily basis, then you're not going to experience your imagination ultimately, right? So what does it mean to use your imagination? Well, think about the last time that you what I just said right now. Think about the last time you did anything, right? That's you using your mind to imagine something that's not happening right now. We say that it's not happening right now. Although it is happening right now, we say it's not happening right now. So I say, think about the last time you did such and such. Say the last time you ate. All right, cool. Some image came to your mind. That's your imagination. So if you learn how to use this imagination, then you're going to directively or deliberately think about a situation or circumstances you want, right? So, right now it's January 1st, 2024. Okay, great. Imagine yourself in January 1st, 2025. Think 1 year from now, okay? What can you create with your imagination? If there's anything that I would want to pass on to anybody else, it would be that you can use your imagination to create whatever it is that you want. I'm living in a space right now in IMC Base 5 that was at one point in time only a thought. It was only an idea. It was only an image. It was only a conversation at some point, right? But I'm now living in that experience. So I'm living in my imagination, from the place in which I work to the things that I do on a daily basis, to the conversations that I have. All of it is radiating from my own imagination. If you look at your life, you will see the same thing. You have the power to utilize this creative faculty that's within you that ultimately, once again, nobody else has access to, right? And I know you've heard this time and time again. Maybe you've heard reference to, The Power of Your Imagination, by Neville Goddard, which is like one of my favorite books in the world. It's like a Bible for me. Or maybe you've heard about, this fantastical story about somebody imagining, what they want out of life and so on and so forth. Whatever that may be for you, I want you to actually think about how real this is for you. I mean, each one of us is living in the experience of our own imagination right here, right now, whether it's negative, positive, whatever your interpretation is of it. It's your own unique experience, right? So what you do with that is completely up to you. How you utilize this key in life determines how you experience life, right? And so you have the opportunity to use your imagination to create whatever it is that you want, whatever it is you want to track, whatever it is you desire to live from, that space, you create that, right? Salute Brother Phoenix in the house, all right? So that's the message that I have for y'all today, man. Essentially, say it's gonna be a shorter episode, if you will, but understanding the keys to, this thing called life, right? As I've been learning from my mentor AZD, and the founder of IMC Nation, the keys to your life are found within your communication and your ability to utilize your imagination, right? Those are the two keys in your life that nobody else has access over, right? Nobody else can control your own communication for you. You are the one that's in control of your communication. And in the same manner, your imagination is completely within your guise, within your realm of understanding, right? So it's up to you to decide how you're going to utilize these creative functions of your human experience, right? Each of us are having a human experience, and it's about what you do with this communication and what you do with your imagination that determines the quality of experience that you're having. And trust and believe, I'm not here to have anything less than an extraordinary experience, right? I'm here to have that extraordinary experience. I'm here to become that greater version of myself. The only way I'm going to do that is continuously figure out this thing called life, because I don't have all the answers. I know that every other brother here doesn't have all the answers, but every other brother is on the path of finding out what those answers are. Right? And those answers are unique to you. So your ability to communicate is your ability to put those answers out to the rest of the world, right? And how you put these answers out into the rest of the world, how you deliver the value that you have gathered over your lifetime. Prophet, who's the man that lives here with me in base 5, is a man that has in such a unique experience, right? And it's just highlighted for me right now. But he has an experience that he could change the world with, right? By letting them know, like, yo, I wasn't a victim of my mind. I decided that I was going to use my mind to work for me and not against me. I wasn't going to be a victim of what other people said. In fact, I was going to redefine what that was, and I was going to live from the experience, right, of what it's like to be, that the greatest version of myself, right? I mean, a master of self is the best way I can explain it, right? Like, you have to be a master of your own mind. You have to be a master of your own intelligence. You have to be a master of your communication. You have to be a master of your imagination in order to truly get what this life, has for you, right? And it's unique for all of us, right? So that's the message that I have for y'all today. Hopefully it was, powerful. It touched you in some manner. Before we tap into the meditative moment, I do want to open it up, see if any of y'all brothers have anything to say, in reflection of anything that was said today. Otherwise, we're going to go into our 5-minute meditation. Oh, the phone's right here. So yeah, if you have anything to say, now's the time. Otherwise, I'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. 5 minutes meditation.
Yeah, brother, that was yeah, man, that was a powerful talk you just gave. Anytime, especially you, man. I see how you move here at Base 5. I know you have your daily ritual of going into your imagination. In fact, that was a practice that me and you had in common.
Yeah.
And so I can attest to how powerful that exercise is. And if someone's not, using their imagination, they're limited.
Yeah.
They're limited in their life and in everything, man, because it all starts with that.
I think so.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, when you were speaking about it, whenever I think of somebody manifesting anything from their imagination, I think of Jim Carrey. I mean, that's just, if there's any proof of manifesting something from imagination, I mean, this man wrote himself a fake check for $10 million, man. That's a man with no limits on his imagination. Like, if somebody's gonna write how much money they want, like in life or in 10 years, or they want to be a millionaire, you ask them how much. Oh, I see myself with $3 million, $5 million. This man said 10 million. And what was it, 10 years later or however long it took, he got a check for that exact amount. I mean, there you have it, bro. Like, so, but you were gonna say something.
I was gonna ask you, if you had any personal experiences with your own imagination, like that you could share with anybody that is a testament to what we're talking about.
Yeah, man. Many actually, but one in particular I won't forget. I remember at some point I wanted a business. I wanted to start my own business. I didn't know how, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what kind of business or any of that, but I used to just imagine what it would feel like waking up, not having to answer to nobody, like being out and about, building something that I created and which was going to give me an income. And I remember, man, I was still kind of job searching at the same time while I was still doing this exercise. And I got a I got called in for an interview. And I'm like, shit, this ain't really what I wanted, but I mean, let's see what it is. And sure enough, man, it was Aflac Insurance, but it wasn't a role of being an employee. When they explained it, they said this is you building your own business. This is you getting your own clients. This is you. So that's basically what it was. So it wasn't exactly what I envisioned, but holding on to that feeling, because imagination is not just the visualization, it's the feeling it of what you want. And when I realized like, oh shit, this is my manifestation that I'm stepping into right now, that one was big for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, uh,
Mm.
yeah, that's man, that's dope. I mean, that's just a testament, to the power that we all have access to. The moment that we choose to exercise, our imagination, our lifestyle is gonna grow. It's gonna become a reflection of what it is that we're visualizing inside. Like you said with Jim Carrey and then yourself, you know what I'm saying? Those are real life examples of manifestations that happen. Like I said for myself, I'm living in a base at this point in time, which is which was at some point in time only an idea. It was only a conversation at some point, right? Whereas now I'm living in that experience, right? And I can go down the rest of my life and point to these different desires that I had that I'm now living from that space. But that's something that's I know is unique to me, right? Because it's my own unique expression, my own understanding, if you will, of my imagination and so on and so forth. So, anyways, man, that's where I find myself at this point in time. I thought this was a powerful mastermind, you know what I'm saying, for us to be able to tap into, these ideals and whatnot. So, from this point, we're going to do the 5-minute meditation. Meditation. It's going to be a meditative moment. So, if y'all brothers have not participated in the meditative moment before, what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 minutes, essentially to tap into your inner space. So wherever it is that you are, we're going to do a quick breathing, if you will, just to kind of center ourselves. So wherever it is that you are, just begin to close your eyes and tap into the world inside, your inner space. As you tap in, we're going to breathe in through our nose. Breathe in. Fill the lungs and then let it out. Feel your body relax. Become aware of your inner space as your eyes are closed. Take another deep breath in. And let it out. Relaxing even deeper. Take another deep breath in through the nose. This time, hold it. And relax. Let it out. At this point in time, we're going to enjoy the next 3 minutes of peace. So wherever it is that you are, just locate yourself inside, right? What you see inside, nobody else can see. Nobody else has access to the space that you create from within. This is a place where everything originates, everything generates. Tap into your inner space and focus on what you want, whatever that may be. Nobody else has access to this space. This is where you create from. Enjoy the next 3 minutes of peace. Tap in. As we come to final 15 seconds of this exercise, just take a moment to appreciate yourself from the world within. Once again, nobody else has access to your inner space. This is where you create from. Appreciate yourself for taking the time to tap in to the world within. As you begin to open your eyes, come back to the external world, I'd like to just take a moment to say thank you to all the brothers that did tap in and that leveled up with us. You know, every single time that I'm here on the master's table, I see it as an opportunity to create and like we were talking about, communicate and imagine, you know, what's possible, right? So those are the keys that I had to pass on to you today. You know what I'm saying? This was valuable to you. Of course, share this with somebody else. I go by the name Master myself. I'm streaming to you live from IMC Base 5. What we say in IMC Nation is be the best and fuck the rest. What I say is knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth. So